The conversation moves on to work as Kyle says they need to get going. When Daniel asks where they're heading, he confesses that he's been developing a gaming platform for Chancellor Winters. Kyle gives Summer a knowing grin before telling her the news. Summer tells that she and Harrison are going on a Christmas excursion, but will return the next day. Upstairs, Kyle checks to see if the boy has everything he requires. Summer explains to Daniel how tough it must be to spend the holidays apart from Lucy and Heather. Since he has not provided any specifics regarding the source of the tension, she asks if he would want to elaborate. The boys play video games in Chelsea's bedroom as Billy and Chelsea have a conversation. Adam walks in through the entrance and immediately says, "This is the very picture of the Christmas spirit." Billy elaborates on Chelsea and Johnny's present-giving relationship. Chelsea lets Billy know that she and Connor are going out to supper with Adam. Suffice it to say that Coco and I did not go to sleep on Christmas Eve with visions of sugar plums dancing in their brains. They cleaned up after the horses and elephants and slept in tents. In other words, we did not consider it a Christmas miracle to discover a drunken clown in our dorm room. Nick thinks it's fascinating and terrifying. Sally explains that her parents were perpetual tattletales. They finally ran away from it one day, so they just left you, Nick sneers. Sally tells him she's finally come to terms with it, but it's the source of her unconventional outlook on parenthood. Nick feels bad for her and thinks everyone should have parents who appreciate the miracle of having a child. A door is opened for Billy and Johnny by Chelsea. Before turning back to her company, she yells into the bedroom at Connor. 2 presents, one for her and one for Connor, are handed to her by Johnny. They exchange holiday greetings as she hands Johnny his present. They share a warm embrace. Diane never dreamed it would be this easy to improve her ties to both sets of parents, but she is determined to do it. As Kyle helps Harrison place the ornament atop the tree, Diane exclaims, "Perfect." She says this is the best Christmas ever and that her dreams have finally come true. She gives Kyle a hug. When Victoria and Billy arrive at Society, they discover Johnny joking about with Chelsea, Connor, and Adam. Now Billy is saying, "You can see that everything is fine. If you look closely, you can see that Chelsea is worried by their presence." When Victoria and Billy see the boys at the table, they naturally gravitate toward them. Adam brings out some more chairs as Chelsea extends an invitation to join them. Billy looks at Chelsea and adds it's beginning to feel a lot like Christmas. At the Abbott cabin, Danny makes a holiday return and surprises Kyle and Summer. Sally opens up to Nick about her background on today's episode of The Young and the Restless, while Billy's decision affects Victoria and Jack deals with Jeremy. Nick expresses his appreciation to Sally for agreeing to meet him in the park. Unfortunately, he can only make time for coffee today. She is sympathetic to his busy schedule and can appreciate his efforts. Christian, according to Nick, has begun asking some profound questions regarding Santa. He claimed it was a fantastic experience. There are moments when you have to trust in a little magic. Nick expresses his deep love for his children and his longing for faith on the holiday. If you're a good parent, your kids won't need you as much. With any chance, they'll return. Sally makes a comment on the wide age gap between his children. "Are you calling me out?" Nick laughs. A door is opened for Billy and Johnny by Chelsea. Before turning back to her company, she yells into the bedroom at Connor. 2 presents, one for her and one for Connor, are handed to her by Johnny. They exchange holiday greetings as she hands Johnny his present. Summer and Daniel welcome Daniel to the Abbott home and both express surprise at how long it had been since they last celebrated Christmas Eve together. Abbott greets his brother-in-law with a hug and tells him how much he's missed him once Kyle arrives, and the two engage in some light banter. I got the sense that he was feeling very comfortable about it. When asked why he left him with Chelsea, Billy says that he and Connor and Adam are going out to dinner. He didn't see any good reason to say no to the lad's request for company. As Victoria screams, "Are you serious right now? Does that mean Johnny is hanging out with Chelsea and Adam?" Incredulous. "What were you thinking?" In his report to Victoria, Billy explains, "Johnny wanted to join them for supper, and we agreed we'd follow his example." Victoria asserts that the holiday season is about spending time with loved ones. Billy understands how tough it is for her, but Chelsea, Connor, and Adam are Johnny's family too. That's what Victoria is aiming for. She tells Billy that while their bond as parents hasn't changed, hers has. Even though they're divorced, Billy insists she's still his mom. Victoria is concerned that things would blur if he and Chelsea become closer. When the lads finally show up, Connor immediately asks if he may invite Johnny over for dinner. So long as Johnny's dad approves, Adam says it's cool with him. It's suggested by Chelsea that Johnny and Billy come along, but Billy declines. After a moment of silence, Johnny finally asks, "But I can go, right?" Billy buys into Connor and Johnny's presentation. Chelsea has his word that he'll break it to Victoria gently. Adam has trouble believing that she'll accept this. After telling Adam to drop Johnny off at his apartment, Billy says he'll talk to her. Adam concurs and Chelsea expresses her gratitude, an excellent way to start the holiday season. Daniel encourages Summer at the Abbott estate to enjoy her time with her loved ones and not to worry about him. Presently, he is precisely where he should be. His entire life will be altered by this project. As for Summer, she hopes everything works out for him. Daniel gives a final hug to Summer as they say farewell to Kyle. He gives Kyle a firm handshake and departs. Summer, once they are alone, asks Kyle if he is prepared for their journey. He assures us that he is and that Harrison will be overjoyed. Let's get to work. At some point during Crimson Lights, Billy approaches Victoria and says, "Where's Johnny?" Billy claims to be in the attic. "Don't tell me you left him with Chelsea," Victoria begs. She claims to have been quite accommodating during the gift-giving process, and to have let Johnny give her something in person. Billy cuts in. He believes his mother would be very proud of him. In Chelsea's eyes, his gift was the world since he gave it to her. They cleaned up after the horses and elephants and slept in tents. In other words, we did not consider it a Christmas miracle to discover a drunken clown in our dorm room. Nick thinks it's fascinating and terrifying. Sally explains that her parents were perpetual tattletales. They finally ran away from it one day. "So they just left you?" Nick sneers. Sally tells him she's finally come to terms with it, but it's the source of her unconventional outlook on parenthood. Nick feels bad for her and thinks everyone should have parents who appreciate the miracle of having a child. For Billy, everyone is simply more relatives. Since Adam is involved, Victoria feels a great deal of emotional intensity. Billy doesn't like Adam very much, but he's trying to be friendly. They're simply leaving for dinner. When she asks what he wants, Billy replies, "This is our boy, and this is what he wants. There's no choice except to back him up. Victoria must experience it on her own." Adam, upon entering the society, worries if Chelsea is fine. "Are you prepared for this?" The others follow Chelsea's lead and sit down. Chelsea interacts with Johnny and Connor, while also giving Adam a kind smile. Eventually, Kyle, Summer, and Harrison make it to the Abbott Lodge. Kyle walks inside and yells, "Mom," when he finally gives up and declares, "She's not here." After thoroughly searching the premises, Sally tells Nick at the park that she had a loving upbringing thanks to her grandmother. Nick appreciates that she now has an ally. Sally reveals that she too looked up to Great Aunt Sally. Jack visits Jeremy in his suite, where Jeremy assures him he will keep the $500,000 he brought and stay for the duration of the party. He will then no longer be a part of their daily lives. It's like getting a Christmas present in July. Jack suggests that he is savvy enough to avoid jail time and then leaves. Jeremy gives off an amused air. Jack makes a face as he walks down the hall outside. Sally drinks some coffee in the park, but soon begins to feel ill at ease. Assuming something is awry, Nick inquires as to the matter. The answer is a mystery to her. The guy wants to know if she's ready to pack up and leave. She nods and rubs her stomach, while giving a bewildered expression. Arriving in his hotel room, Daniel unpacks his belongings, opens a beer and gazes out the window at the snowfall. A while later, he hears a knock at the door. He rips it open with wide eyes and exclaims, "Dad." To his son, Danny wishes a Merry Christmas. One of them gives the other a hug.